walking up Bethesda Steps now. This was the thoroughfare that Ben Nicholson drew in on the very day that he visited St Ives for the first time and discovered Alfred Wallace in August 1928. I'm on my way to Bob Crossley's studio. He's now 96, so he therefore represents a link back to the earlier generation. He's yet another northerner who came down here to live in 1959, so he's approaching his 50th anniversary as a St Ives artist. His work very much belongs to that of Frost, Hilton and so on, the work that they were doing in the early 60s, gestural approach, retaining kind of residual landscape imagery. Bob is self-willed and individualistic, and a member of the Penwith Society of Artists, but somebody who ran a shop here rather than teaching art schools. He's a real survivor and continues to paint to this very day. Bob, and there's a photograph here of you in the 70s with Patrick Hughes and Brian Ingham.
That's right.
And obviously you're a lot younger there.
A few drinks there.
A few drinks. Penwith opening, I think.
To the bottom expression.
But it shows how three very different artists were.
During my show, by the way.
It was your show, was it? At the Penwith Gallery.
It's some of the big your work, you know. Field painting. Yeah. And don't do it now. I'm influenced by it. Everything I do, it's sort of related, more or less. They all join together. Through my whole stream of work, right from the early days. The brush mark is very important. It shows the construction of the painting, the brush mark. Every mark helps to construct the painting.
And does that mean, therefore, that the finished composition is a record of its own making, of its own? Each brush mark is left unadulterated, and that the picture is constructed from pure brushworks that have either been...
No, there are a few things in your mind at the same time. You think of the composition and the brush mark, of course. You don't think about that. You put the brush marks in. They're on the edge of control. You start making a mark, you see, you know what's going to finish. At the same time, you're aware of the space surrounding the brush mark. So the whole things are gelling together. So the composition, the marks that you make to make up the composition, all working at the same time together.
And also in this process, colour is vitally important to you, because you are a colourist, I think.
Yes, yes. Sometimes, as far as colours are concerned, I plan the colours first. A certain range of colours, and I do the composition within that range of colours without changing them.
Now, what dictates the range of colour that you predetermined?
Well, the choice of colours, they harmonise. You know when you paint, when you put a colour in, if it's harmonising alongside it, you make sure the colour is harmonious with the colours that are already in position. You don't think about it, it's automatic with practice and many years of painting. You don't think about colour.
So, is the colour that you choose dictated, for example, by the experience of nighttime, or by the experience of high summer with hot colour, or by the experience of, you know, an alpine landscape, or the experience of a Cornish sea in the high summer?
I don't think so. I mean, colour has got its own properties in the abstract. It's got its own sensations. It is related to the natural world, obviously. But at the same time, when you're doing a colour, you think about the objective approach of the colour, the abstract qualities. I think that anyway. But I mean, I'm not quite sure what I'm thinking at the time, but I'm aware of that. That colour has its own energy. And when you're using it, it relates to your experience of colour. And but it all sums up together. You're not quite sure what you're doing. There's so much years of experience, they're all working side by side. So you're not really as much in control as what you think you are. It's a spontaneous attitude, actually, an ad-lib, you know, open-ended attitude, and what I call freedom. Freedom is the most essential thing in life, in painting or anything else. The freedom. If you're a one-man business, you've got your freedom of looking after yourself, you know. But if you're in a big company, it's a chain reaction. You're probably hanging able to be a free man, self-employed, doing your own thing in your own way. That's happiness. That's what I still live, right?
Do you therefore see yourself as an abstract artist, or as an abstract artist that is still using subject matter, nature, landscape?
I can't see myself a human being. Once you use paint for many, many years, it becomes a kind of personal language. And you don't think you're abstract. Everything you do is related to the natural world. Everything. All my work is, there's nothing completely abstract. It's not just about proportion and composition. There's some meaning behind it. There's something else. It's a mixture of things. So you can't put your finger on exactly what happens. It's open-ended. So you carry on doing it, and you don't worry about that. You don't worry about what people think. You follow your own nose all the time, you see. And because you don't do it for a living completely, you find some way of earning a living without that. You see, I've always been, I made my mind after the war not to be dependent on galleries or anything else. I made my mind to that. So I decided to do other things for a living. But eventually it became a living in itself, without any intention.
Yeah.
It became a living. And now my paintings bring a price that I thought really would be impossible years ago.
That phenomenon of living long enough to see your work mature in the public awareness and to reach prices that you wouldn't have dreamed of is a very happy outcome
Absolutely.
to a career.
Absolutely. Now we're pushing it. I mean, Larry told me once, he said, a customer, people, they don't ask you to paint it, you see. Therefore, you can do what you like. You can't expect them to like it. Because you do what you want to do, so you can expect them to like it. And I didn't at the beginning.
So Bob,
Different periods.
different periods of painting. Do you...
This is very gestural, but this is not. That's what is my subject.
And it relates to...
It's like transparent colour. It's oil.
And it
It's acrylic.
relates to fishing.
It does really. I don't know what that is. I don't know how I did it. It looks good though, but fishing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. These sweeps, these marks here. That's like a bit of rod. It looks like a rod.
But it's obviously a view of the sea with boats, obviously.
Hmm?
It's obviously a view of the sea with
Oh yes,
with
of course.
boats.
It's a sea, yes. I don't know what this is at all. But it's put in and looks okay.
And the colour is muddy.
Oh, no, these are small boats with a mackerel. You know, whiffing.
And
That's what they are.
the colour is sort of earthy,
Subdued, yes.
subdued colour, not like the pure
No, it's not pure
colour
colour.
that you're using later on.
Very neutral.
Yeah. And then the gestural one next to it,
That's all about colour.
that's acrylic.
That's yes. It's all about colour.
And it's all about colour and transparency,
Yes.
opacity,
That's right. The mark.
the mark.
The decisiveness of the mark.
Yeah.
Know where it's going.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah. This oil painting is called Levant, and it's relates to the mining area around St Just. Again, it's an early landscape shortly after you came down here. Prussian blues, ochres, very 50s sort of earth colour really.
Pretty well, yeah. very transparent.
But again, despite the abstraction and the gestural composition, it's also relating to a topography, to a place. It's relating to a place. To a place.
A place, oh yeah. I call it the land. Yeah.
The cliffs and the and so on.
It's trees and buildings and a mixture of marks, and it's pure, very ad lib.
Spontaneous again. Ad lib and also
yeah, everything is everything.
And then there's a still earlier one, which was a figure composition, which relates to the working class Lancashire of your truly early days.
Yes, true. Yeah.
It's called After Work. It's 1959.
Yeah.
And you say that it was painted shortly before you came down to Cornwall.
My father, it's better my father coming home from work, slipping his jacket off. In the early days, he'd come home straight to the sink and wash his hands first, you know, and down to his tea. Puts his jacket off first.
Well, that's a gesture, isn't it? That's a gesture in itself.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
An expression of...
washing hands with a tap. Yeah. Dixon's rock soap.
An expression of life, work,
oh, yeah.
Coming home.
Absolutely.
A ritual.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. But it has a power, a monumental, figurative power.
I think it has, yeah. I think what's the transparency of the paint on his neck. And that red.
Yeah.
The transparency of that there. I don't know why it's just about right, is that?
Yeah, I think it's a good painting.